And welcome to Live with the Guy. We got breaking political and pop culture news. And I got Nat over here.
Hello.
She's my better half. She was on WDW Pro today, so thank you for everybody that watched over there.
Yes.
Let's actually get right into this headline story because I've been covering this story for about 2 years, and they've been blocking Conor McGregor at every turn, trying not to have him run for president or even mayor in Ireland. Okay, let's get right into this thing.
So, from Dublin Live, Conor McGregor claims he has secured backing for president bid. Conor McGregor has claimed that he has secured the support of local councils, TDs, and senators and will run in the Irish presidential race.
Yeah, and this is good news, even though he's a bit of a crazy figure, and we'll kind of go into that. The presidential position in Ireland doesn't actually hold that much power, but somebody like Conor McGregor can kind of leverage that public figure status to put pressure on other politicians and possibly make change in Ireland. Ireland is one of the places I cover fairly heavily, usually on my political show, and it is highly progressive. They've completely embraced the messaging over there. Immigration, the tensions have been rising for over 2 years now. Things are really at a boiling point, and if they don't start having politicians that actually represent the people and have them represent the people's beliefs, there's going to be problems. Let's read a little bit about it, and then we'll get more into it.
Conor McGregor has announced he has secured the backing of local councils, TD senators for his bid in the Irish presidential race. The MMA star has been open about his ambitions to run for the RS, but it was widely believed he would not garner the political support needed to get his name on the ticket. According to the Constitution, presidential candidates must be nominated by 20 members of the Oireachtas or 4 of Ireland's 31 local councils, reports the Irish Mirror.
Yeah, and this is kind of how they rig Irish politics. You need the support of other Irish politicians to even get in. So once they had a critical mass of progressive politicians, they kind of weeded out everybody else that was against that type of messaging. Conor McGregor, when he was originally rejected for presidential candidate, he said he was going to run for mayor. They then blocked him there too. He started kind of gathering up financial support and other political support that he would need to kind of make a secondary run at this. Whatever he's been doing behind the scenes has been working. I'm glad to hear he has garnered the support. Now, as of right now, it's just him saying he's garnered enough political support to allow him to run for president. Now, if he does run, do I think he will win? He's been quite a controversial figure, but he's probably the most well-known figure in Ireland. That being said, he has had a ton of scandals. This might actually work in his favor. The fact that he has so many scandals, everybody already knows about these scandals. It's going to be hard to really tarnish his name more than it's already been tarnished. So this might be actually a positive rather than a negative. If this was any other politician, I would say these previous scandals would be a negative. In Conor McGregor's case, I'd say potentially a positive.
The presidential election is due to take place by this November, and the competition is intensifying. Parties are starting to nominate their candidates. McGregor revealed his plans to run for the presidency following a St. Patrick's Day visit to the White House and has been actively discussing his plans online.
Yeah, and he's going to have a lot of say in UK politics as well. If he can get this position, which is pretty much just a figurehead position, nobody can actually do much because the Irish president doesn't have a lot of power, the way the political system works, but he's going to leverage that to constantly get in social media, kind of addressing the world as the Irish president. And most people don't know the Irish president doesn't have a lot of power. He's going to leverage that in very critical ways that is going to put a ton of pressure, not just on other Irish politicians, but UK politicians. He's going to shine the light where nobody wants the light to be shone in the UK and Ireland, and most likely the EU as well. What do you think about this whole thing?
Well, I think he's a bit ridiculous, but he's showcasing a problem that Ireland actually has and what the people of Ireland actually feel. So in that sense, I do think he's an important figurehead that kind of gives like his speech for the people.
Yeah, I mean, Ireland has gone so far off course in the last few years. I only know this because I cover Irish politics so much and I watch a lot of Irish content creators that they need somebody like this. Even with his crazy past and his drug and alcohol abuse, things like this, he's probably the only one that is going to have the balls to stand up against these other politicians and say what needs to be said in these really harsh times in Ireland, the UK, and the EU. Right now, there's also been big talks that the UK and France are going to need big bailouts from the IMF and possibly the EU in France's case. If that happens, it really looks like the final push towards digital currency. We'll have more about this on our political show tomorrow night. So if you want to hear more about Conor McGregor and kind of what's going on, this news story just broke today. So I'll kind of see what other Irish content creators have to say about this by the time tomorrow comes up. But let's go into Denzel Washington here.
From Variety, Denzel Washington says, I don't watch movies anymore. I don't go to the movies. I'm tired of movies.
Yeah, and he's kind of echoing my sentiments. I've been really tired of movies these last few years. I rarely watch movies. I mean, I have a pop culture show where I talk about movies. I'll watch clips of movies, but man, it's really like pulling teeth to get me to go to the movies lately just because of all the politics and messaging that's been shoved into these things, how these movies have really been watered down for a global audience rather than an English-speaking audience. It used to be when they were just trying to go after an American audience base, it would be much better script writing, much more nuanced. Now that they're going after a global audience base, they're dumbing these movies down so the dialogue doesn't matter and people can just follow through with the action. Let's read about what else he said here. And I like Denzel Washington as an actor. I constantly say that when he comes up, even if I disagree with some of the statements he has made.
Denzel Washington joined GQ for a video interview with his highest to lowest directors Spike Lee and co-star A$AP Rocky and made the surprising revelation that he no longer watches movies. The two-time Oscar winner admitted it may be because he's just made too many of them. Washington has well over 40 film credits under his belt after starting his career in 1981's Carbon Copy. I don't watch movies, man. I really don't, Washington said. I'm just being honest with you. I don't watch movies. I don't go to movies. I don't watch movies. I'm tired of movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I follow movies on social media more than I go to watch them. What's the last movie that we actually went to watch?
Mission Impossible, probably.
Yeah, Mission Impossible, Snow White before that. We were reviewing quite a few movies there, so we actually went to go watch them.
Because I did want to go see Freaky Friday, but you didn't want me to.
Luckily, I got out of that so far.
We didn't find tickets.
It's going to be coming on Netflix or some other streaming service.
No, it's Disney Plus, and I am not paying for Disney Plus.
Well, they do have that streaming service that you can buy it for the day if you do want to watch just that one movie.
But that's only in the U.S.
So but you can use a VPN.
Meh.
Okay, and let's go into another story that we've kind of been covering. It's kind of old news because everybody's covering it so heavy. Wow, I got some thunder outside the window here.
Yes.
And lightning.
From Fox News, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce's prenup could protect more than couple's multi-million-dollar empire, according to an expert.
Yeah, and I chose this article to talk about her wedding, even though I haven't talked about it on this show, just because we did talk about it on our other shows. So this is a little bit of a different take. We'll talk a little bit about prenups, maybe.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce likely didn't leave a blank space on a prenuptial agreement. Swift announced Kelce had proposed in an Instagram post on August 26. The pop star shared, that part. The couple's star power means there's a lot at stake when it comes to their marriage. Swift and Kelce have a combined estimate net worth of about $1.67 billion.
My God.
According to Forbes, however, a prenup doesn't have to just focus on the money aspect. Swift has been notably private about specific details of her relationships. The couple could use a prenup to protect their privacy should anything go south in their marriage, according to family law attorney Monica Mazzei.
Also, not just wrong in their marriage, but if one gets caught up in some kind of lawsuit, like Taylor Swift was almost dragged into this Blake Lively lawsuit, she can transfer a lot of her assets possibly to her husband's name so they couldn't be touched. Things like this. Also, Taylor Swift's going to be worth a lot more than Travis Kelce. The thing with Travis Kelce is he's going to come out a big winner. He's been getting all kinds of contracts lately because of Taylor Swift. He's now repping American Eagle. He's getting all kinds of other brand endorsements that typical football players wouldn't get. As a football player, I don't think he would have got the amount of endorsements he's getting without Taylor Swift. And I think as they transition into this new part of their career, Taylor Swift is really going to help Travis Kelce's branding immensely.
Yes, and speaking of a prenup, if people don't know what it is, it's essentially a legal document that you sign.
Who's not going to know what a prenup is?
Well, in Mexico, they're not that common. So,
Oh, they're not?
I mean, for like big celebrities, but there is a lawyer, if you don't know who he is, his name is James Sexton, who is a divorce lawyer, and he speaks very positively about prenups and how they're not just for rich people, and they're actually a good way to kind of make everything smoother and have everything out on the table before you even enter into the marriage. A lot of people might be against it and think it's not romantic, but the way he puts it, I mean, he is a divorce lawyer, but if you were to get divorced, wouldn't you want to have planned that part when you were still in love and just about to get married instead of when you hate each other?
Yeah, and I didn't have strong feelings either which way. Yeah, so let's read a little bit more about this.
Due to the financial success of the singer and football star, a prenup was likely signed far in advance of Kelsey's romantic proposal.
I mean, both of these people have more money than they'll ever be able to spend. And they're coming into the relationship with a ton of money, so yeah.
There's very little doubt in my mind that they'll be negotiating after the fact. Newman, a managing partner at Berkman, Bacher, Newman, and Shine LLP, said, I think that their teams would make it crucial for these to be something that must be done before the romantic gesture. So I think they got rid of all the business part of it. And he obviously dropped to a knee and proposed to her. But I can pretty much guarantee that the agreement is signed, sealed, and already in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah, and I would say for a prenup like this, when they already have more money than they'll ever kind of spend, it is good to keep their financial things maybe separate because of lawsuits where I said they could potentially hide their money with the other if lawsuits do come up. Also, I was going to say something else. In the prenup, I would think the most important thing for these two about a prenup is talk if they have a kid and if they do break up. I mean, Taylor Swift is renowned for breaking up with her boyfriends. There's no reason why that couldn't happen with Travis Kelce. I'm assuming she's getting married because she's hitting that age where she might hit the wall and they definitely want a kid. So it's going to be very interesting to see that prenup. I'm sure we won't have a chance to see the prenup, but did they talk about how they would share custody of a kid if that ever did come up?
And I also think this goes to prove the fact that it is probably a very manufactured relationship, and the fact that it is also like a financial and a business decision for both of them, mostly Kelsey, but for both of them as well. So I think the whole fairy tale, oh my God, he dropped on one knee and the roses and the ring, that is all for show, and that's not how these people operate. And I will also say I am very against divorce, and like if you are going to get married and get into that commitment, you're doing it forever regardless of your religious affiliations. I think that the commitment is what keeps both you and the family stable in the long run, and we do see a lot of people divorcing. So I mean, it could play into her whole story as well, and it could play into her whole next era after this and be a commercial success as well.
I mean, she is definitely going to want to have a kid here. And if he's smart, I'm sure she came to him with the prenup. He should demand to put in custody rights now while they're on good terms in case like something like that happens. Typically, if a girl's going to hit the wall and she's desperate to have a kid and she has a long history of breaking up with people, it may, on his part, it's not the financial side that I would be so concerned about. It would be the future custody of that kid, especially her being so ingrained into Hollywood.
And right now, I mean, she is of the millennial era and age, and I do think probably a lot of the women that follow her, especially the white liberal ones, are probably either divorced or thinking of getting divorced, and they're having that whole independent moment. So, I mean, it could work in her favor to get married for 2, 3, 4 years and then just divorce and make a whole thing of that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah. That's why I'm saying for him, it would be smart to talk custody now rather than later. Because if he's talking it later, she has 10 times more money than he has. She's going to have 10 times the lawyers, private detectives, everything else up his ass when they're getting divorced. And she probably would get majority custody. If they talk about it now, it would probably be shared custody. I do wish the best for them, even though I think the relationship is manufactured, but congratulations. And hi to Rafa as well.
Yeah, Rafa says hello, and thank you so much for your big super chat at the WDW Pro and for all your support as well. Thanks for following me over there. Well, us over there.
Yeah. We're always you've watched quite a few times now that you're on there, and I think you're gonna start appearing on there pretty regularly.
Well, we are. I think it's one you, one me.
Oh, okay.
We'll see.
And what every
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, like every other Thursday, I guess. Okay, and let's keep going here. And this is about the Harry Potter new movie. And I didn't know Christopher Columbus directed this. He also discovered America.
Not same one. So from the Hollywood Reporter, Harry Potter director Chris Columbus criticizes HBO remake. What's the point? The Harry Potter movie director reacts to early photos from the HBO drama series. More of the same.
Yeah, and I knew Christopher Columbus from like The Goonies. I think he did Home Alone as well. He did a slew of movies. He's one of the primary directors in the 80s. And I didn't know he actually directed Harry Potter.
Yes.
So that's huge. Yeah, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but I know you are.
Dabble.
Well, that's why we make a good team.
The Harry Potter movie director reacts. Oh, I read that part. Chris Columbus has more to say about HBO's Harry Potter remake. The director, who helmed the first two Warner Brothers films that launched the hit cinematic franchise, recently made headlines for saying he wanted nothing to do with HBO's multi-season remake of J.K. Rowling's novels. But on a new podcast, Columbus made more pointed remarks about the project, reacting to photos making the rounds of Hagrid, Nick Frost, leading around a young Harry, Dominic McLaughlin, around London.
Yeah, and he's in the past had negative remarks to say about J.K. Rowling, so I think he's trying to stay relevant here. And if the series does go wrong, he's going to be the first one to point the things out that are wrong. Said, look how good I did it. You need to bring me back.
He wasn't the best one either.
No.
Out of all the directors they had on Harry Potter. Rafa, if you like Harry Potter, let us know which director you like the most for this.
I don't know any of the directors. He's probably the most famous director, I would say, of the bunch. But in my time, he did like every major big movie.
I mean, the big movie for kids, but I will say it does sound a little bit like he's jealous in a way. I will say I'm not happy with it.
I just don't think he and a lot of people in Hollywood like J.K. Rowling. He also has TDS syndrome. This has come up in the past. So yeah, I think J.K. Rowling has a lot of input in this particular series, and that's probably why he's hating on it. And he's trying to virtue signal to his friends in Hollywood because he is trying to make a major comeback. He is in talks for a lot of big pictures that are coming up, a Goonies remake possibly.
But I mean, this might be my Mexican pride showing, but I do think Alfonso Cuarón's ones are the best ones because they're the most intricately done, I would say.
Who's this?
Alfonso Cuarón.
Oh, I don't know.
Mexican director. Pretty famous.
Okay, let's go into, and it kind of relates because it's fantasy, but The Wizard of Oz at Las Vegas Sphere.
Yes, from Deadline, AI-enabled Wizard of Oz clicks its ruby slippered heels at Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and this could be actually really, really excellent if they can keep the messaging out. I just don't know if they can do it, especially at the Sphere. Most of the people that know how to work with the Sphere, this is cutting edge technology. They're highly involved in progressive messaging. How do I know this? Because when the UFC went to the Sphere, they got all the best people that were involved in the technology aspects of the Sphere. And man, I was watching interview after interview after interview with these people, and they're just so ingrained in woke Hollywood. If they have any chance to put messaging in there, they will. If they can keep it more traditional, but with this technological twist, it would be phenomenal. And that's what people kind of want. But yeah.
For the AI advocates behind a new version of The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere in Las Vegas, the 1939 musical offered a viable way to test of how technology would transform a classic.
Yeah, and when this UFC went to the Sphere, it was UFC Noche, so it was a Mexican themed thing. It was a huge failure, but they had outside backing coming in from Saudi Arabia to kind of finance that because they knew they were going to lose money because it was a limited number of seats they could actually put in there. That being said, the thing did look phenomenal. yeah, I really do like the sphere. I like the technology there, but it's just so hard to make it because it's new technology. So let's go a little bit more into it.
It says it is also a film that most people have never seen on the big screen, a troubled production that was a misfire at the box office in its initial run. It found new life decades later when shown on television. I feel like it was ripe for the sphere, said producer Jane Rosenthal, a member of the new Oz creative team. There were 5 different directors on it. It came from the old studio system rather than the auteur framework, that came along later. She added, moreover, it has always had technology at heart, Rosenthal told Deadline. Producer Mervyn Leroy and other stakeholders pushed for Technicolor, and it was one of the first times it was used in a film.
Yeah, I just don't know if it takes a lot of production, a lot of planning to get things to transition into the sphere. I know this because I studied it when the UFC went there, like I said. I don't know if they're going to be able to put the time and the effort, or it's just going to be more of a gimmick. They need 6 to 12 months to do this thing properly. They're also going to have to pre-rent the sphere out to see how things are going to look on that screen. That costs money as well. Mm-hmm. So let's go into...
Before Rafa says, I'm not a fan, to be honest. I thought the first 2 were better than the third, so I think I like Columbus the most. And then he says, nah, Cuarón ruined it. He did not know. I like the darker, grittier aspect of it.
Yeah, I usually like movies when they go darker as well, especially like Bat.
But at the same time, it does seem like there was no light in those. So,
okay, let's go into Cobra Kai and Knight Rider. And Knight Rider was from my time and probably the time of Christopher Columbus too.
From The Hollywood Reporter, Cobra Kai creators tackling Knight Rider movie for Universal. Kelly McCormick and David Leitch of 87 North are among those producing a big screen take on the 1980s show.
Yeah, this is no longer a fantasy. This is where we're living. The cars and AI actually talk to you now. So it's kind of strange. This is our reality we're living in now. And let's read a little bit about it here. Oh, I will also say this. Knight Rider, I remember when I used to go to Universal Studios as a kid, that they had a different Knight Rider car for every different trick it would do. And it did a ton of different tricks, like go on 1 wheel, go on 2 wheels, be able to do different jumps. So
Kit is going on a new ride courtesy of creators of Cobra Kai.
And Kit is the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea about this property.
Oh, I know a lot about it. And, oh, God, I can't remember the guy from Baywatch, but that's how he got his start. David Duchovny, maybe? Oh, no, not David Duchovny, but you can keep going here.
John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg, and Josh Held, the creators behind the worldwide Netflix sensation, are in talks to bring Knight Rider, the 1980s action drama centered on a computerized talking car, to the big screen. They are in talks to write the screenplay, with Hurwitz and Schlossberg in talks to direct. The trio will also produce with the other Counterbalance Entertainment production company, joining Kelly McCormick and David Leitch from The Fall Guy, who are producing through their banner 87 North. We recently spoke about
and I just don't know how interesting you can make this movie be, because this is a reality now. It's not like it's something else. If you make it a comedy, throw some jokes in there maybe, but this was never a comedy to begin with.
Well, you could show the dark aspects of it.
Oh yeah, I guess you could go dark with it.
Like the scary aspects of having technology, because we are living it. So showing that.
And we can go into K-pop Demon Hunters here. And we've been talking a lot about this, but these are 2 different aspects. I have 2 articles again on it today.
From Deadline, K-pop Demon Hunters officially becomes Netflix's most popular film ever after another week of near 0% audience decline.
Yeah, and this did fantastic in its theater run. I didn't know why they didn't extend that theater run. They're just mismanaging this property, but even when they mismanage it at every turn, it just constantly keeps exceeding expectations. And this is really made for the new generation. When I watched the trailer, I instantly said, well, yeah, kids of this era are going to love this. This looks a lot different than anything Disney. Disney is struggling to get new, interesting, and creative ideas, ways to animate, putting music in there in a way that kids really connect to this day, not with the way Disney puts songs in movies sometimes doesn't connect with the audience. This connected with me just in the trailer alone.
The moment has finally arrived. K-pop Demon Hunters has officially become Netflix's most popular film of all time. The animated musical produced by Sony Pictures Animation added another 25.4 million views from August 18 to 24, bringing its total since its June 20th premiere to 236 million views.
Yeah, and Netflix needs to start locking down this property for long term. Sony's the one that creates this, so I don't know how long they have the rights to this thing, but Disney has to definitely be looking at this property. And even if they don't have a chance to steal this property from Netflix, they're going to go to Sony Studios to get them to create something similar.
And it's also interesting that Sony Studios also made Into the Spider-Verse, which was also a surprise hit. I have a friend that worked on both of these from Vancouver, so it is cool to see them doing well.
Sony has always done really well, and even if they had a couple missteps here or there, even with Marvel, they do make the best Spider-Man when it comes to Marvel, even when other studios have messed it up in the past. Let's go into the second article, and it's K-pop Demon Hunters again.
Yes, from Variety, K-pop Demon Hunters 2, Sony and Netflix in early talks for sequel. And they'd be dumb not to.
Oh, they would be absolutely stupid not to do this. And this could really platform them into a lot of other kids' content and put them at the cutting edge of kids' content. Kids' content is obviously some of the biggest content because when you do put it in theaters, you have the ability to sell four or more tickets, both parents, both kids. If you have a bigger family, you even sell more, grandparents, all that kind of great stuff. Also, because this is a sing-along, it makes for viral marketing campaigns. Because it did so well in the first theater run, I'm sure next Netflix is going to try to find a permanent distributor that can put it into wide distribution so they can really capitalize on this. I have a feeling Netflix is really struggling with distribution right now because when they do bring movies into theaters, it's just for limited release so they can win awards.
And the thing is, I don't think it's PG because I have seen some scenes from it. I mean, it is probably targeted to a teenage girl audience mostly, but I would not say kids should be watching it. There's a lot of innuendo, if not straight up,
Yeah, but
conversation.
The way the what do you call it, licensing board gives the rating to these things, they've really been pushing the boundaries. So PG for today is what 18 plus used to be.
Unfortunately. So it looks like Hunter X, I haven't seen it, so if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. Reunion tour is in the works. Sony, maybe I'll watch it at some point while I'm editing. Sony and Netflix, because we keep talking about
Oh, no. I can't. I'm banning you from watching this thing just because if there's a catchy song that gets in her head, I have to listen to it for 2 weeks.
No, that was because I used to really like, what was it? Wicked. And that got stuck in my head.
Yeah, it was Wicked, all these songs. And then in the car.
It's when I was young.
And then when we were walking, and then she was doing it in public, and my God.
Okay. Sony and Netflix are in early talks for a K-pop Demon Hunter sequel following up on the animated feature that became a streaming mega hit over the summer. Earlier Tuesday, K-pop Demon Hunters overtook Red Notice on Netflix. We already read that part. As well.
Let's go down to the bottom here.
Okay. Netflix is continuing to seek ways to capitalize on the runaway success of the feature, which was produced by Sony under the studio's licensing deal with the streamer. To note, K-pop Demon Hunters was the first film made under the First Look Sony intends to make for streaming as Netflix prepares to launch in-person shopping destinations in both Philadelphia and Dallas ahead of the holiday season. The company has been constructing K-pop Demon Hunters experiences on site, a remarkable fast-tracking decision as layouts for the stores have already been in the works for years.
Yeah, and this was well-produced content. It had good songs, everything. The animation was good. It was really cutting edge with a lot of the experimentation they were trying. And for kids content, that's very important because with the rise of AI, kids content has gotten extremely lazy from the major studios. They're basically cash cows, which they think they don't have to put a lot of effort into. When the rise of AI and independent content creators come up, they're going to be able to recreate South Park and other things in minutes rather than having to have a whole studio behind them. So these studios are going to have competition from regular people because of AI. So something like this that has really put in all the elements together is something that Netflix really needs to try to assign long term. It also has a lot of value when it's going to come to either seasonal releases or toy releases and other product releases outside.
Well, I mean, I was going to say with Netflix, we do see them trying to do their whole lines and like series and TV show lines with Tudun, which is their like merchandising arm, and which is what Meghan Markle is now costing them a lot of money for because of her store. They're actually the ones that are producing all the Meghan Markle crap. And with this, they might be able to save it because this will actually generate revenue. The other thing doesn't.
Meghan Markle, they kind of tried so desperately to contrive her and her jam. If you don't know, Netflix actually owns her businesses, so they're trying to cash in on that. This is the opposite way. K-pop Demon Hunters, they weren't expecting to be a hit. It's a surprise hit. They need to pay whatever it takes to get this for the next 10 years and then start releasing products on the back of this thing. This thing has a lot of potential. It's a guaranteed cash cow rather than with Markle. They contrived the whole thing from the beginning, invested millions, and it was a flop. This thing's already a proven success, and it's to your most valuable market, which is kids.
Or well, I would say teenagers, but maybe I'm just a prude.
Yeah.
Rafa says, haha, sorry, I just recall when I was little and it was announced that Cuarón would direct the film. My cousin shouted, no, he's Mexican. The whole movie's gonna suck. There's a lot of really good Mexican directors. I'm sorry. And I mean, Cuarón, I might go into my own biases. And I do know Roma was woke, pretty much woke. But I did really like the story and the way he told it. And then there's Iñárritu, Guillermo del Toro, Cuarón. I mean, we do have good Mexican
Geronimo
directors.
del Toro, is he from Spain?
No, Guillermo del Toro is Mexican.
Oh, he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. For some reason, I always thought he was from Spain.
And González Iñárritu as well. And Rafa also says, it's time for you to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. You've spent more time talking about it than the film's actual running time. Yeah, probably.
Well, yeah, it's been a surprise hit. And I didn't talk about it for a long time because there was all kinds of articles when I go for the articles of the day. And I was like, oh, that looks like crap. That looks like crap. And then I was like, they're talking about it a lot. I better watch the trailer. And then I was impressed by the trailer. And I rarely get impressed by an animated trailer.
And
it's not that I got impressed that I would like it, but I said, oh, that's what today's era of kids would definitely connect with.
And the thing is, I am pretty against anime. I just don't think it's a good idea for kids, and we've seen some studies to show the repercussions of it, but I might watch it while I'm editing. I do have a bunch of stuff to edit tonight, so maybe tonight.
Oh yeah, you got a big interview she's going to release. But
yeah, that's why I've been lagging on the Spanish and English videos as well, because I've been doing that.
That was your first interview, I think.
Yeah, and it is 2 hours. So.
The second half messed up, but the audio was still good, so you have the visual for the first half at least. Yeah. If anybody's that invested, they're not going to mind if the visual
It was an interesting conversation, and it is an interesting first interview for Spanish. And Rafa says it's Huntrix, like Trix sounds like the rabbit cereal. Oh, I forgot about that cereal.
Okay, let's go into Army, Navy, Air Force. Gonna start selling alcohol at the games. I'm assuming they weren't selling it before.
From the AP, Army joins Air Force and Navy in allowing alcohol sales at football games.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is necessarily the best thing. Yeah, it's going to be good, but the audiences at these things, there's a lot more violence when you add alcohol into these things, especially with the deep rivalry between Army, Navy, stuff like that. I had a lot of friends that were in the military, and when one group of like Marines comes against Army guys, they'll start fights in bars all the time just because there is that kind of rivalry. And I think that's part of the reason why they kept alcohol out of their games for so long. But let's read it a little bit. It's usually welcome at other college games. I think there was a reason.
And I mean, mix that with the fact that, I mean, if there's vets there, a lot of them have other issues as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I also stopped drinking years ago, almost a decade now, you as well. Yeah. So most people do drink, and it makes the game a lot more fun. I will admit that. But when you have a deep rivalry, violence could spark. I used to live in Los Angeles, and Raiders games were notorious. You don't go there wearing another jersey. You will get beat senseless. So let's read about this article, though.
Army will begin selling alcoholic beverages at football games for Now, at Michie Stadium, beginning with its Friday game against Tarleton State, athletic director Tom Theodorakis announced Wednesday.
Well, maybe they should have started with like a weekday game. This is Friday night. People are going out to party after this thing. So
Army was the last service academy to not sell alcohol at football games. Air Force began sales in 2017 and Navy in 2021. The opportunity to purchase alcohol has become common practice at college athletic venues across the country, and we're pleased to introduce it here at West Point as part of our ongoing commitment to enhancing the game day experience.
yeah, I used to also live in Florida. I went to a lot of college football games down there, and man, those things get rowdy afterwards. Okay.
I mean, it does say fans will be able to purchase beer and ready-to-drink cocktails with a limit of 2 drinks per transaction.
Yeah, but,
I guess
but
that's-
the tailgate parties is the thing.
Yeah.
That's where and they're pre-drinking, they're going in and out, they're sneaking alcohol in.
And especially with younger kids.
But I guess the other two branches of the military have already been doing this, so it should be an easy transition maybe.
But still, and I mean,
It's mainly the rivalry games where the Army's going to play the Air Force or they're going to play the Navy, things like that. When they're playing normal colleges, I wouldn't be as concerned.
And I do think, same as with Disney, like I also don't agree with the introduction of more and more alcohol and now in like adults only bar at Disney World and Disneyland.
Well,
and
and
them
when-
changing and shifting all their, whole. I mean, Walt Disney did not like the fact that alcohol would be in the parks.
Well, and also on WDW Pro today, you were talking about Cracker Barrel, and it came up that
Yes.
when they did that whole revamp before they did that, they started pushing alcohol in there. And I had worked at bars and restaurants a lot when I was younger. And yeah, you need space for all that alcohol. So you're having to take out other products in order to bring alcohol in there. And you're not selling a lot of alcohol at Cracker Barrel to begin with anyway. And they took a lot of their specialty drinks that are really like grandparents want to bring their grandkids there to experience, like the root beer float, stuff like that. So,
And it is also interesting that, I mean, we do see the stats, at least for up to last year, Gen Z is drinking a lot less. So
Yeah.
it is interesting, this push for alcohol from, I'm guessing, older adults, because Gen Z seems to not be too interested in it. Luckily. And I mean, I think that's great
yeah.
as a sober person.
Okay.
Rafa says, it's too, he's talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. It's too girly, but it's actually cool. Okay.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
I edit-
I haven't seen it yet either, but I did watch the trailer, and on WDW Pro again they said it was for girls, but it is definitely geared towards it seems like in the trailer they hit the mark for the new generation, and that's very rare with these cartoons nowadays. A lot of these cartoons are taking old IPs and really digging into the nostalgia, hoping parents will pass it down to their kids, like Lilo and Stitch. And I missed one article here. Maybe you can bring up another window and we can go into Cracker Barrel had good reasons to rebrand.
I mean,
which-
you have the keyboard.
Oh, I do. Okay. Here, I'll hand it to you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we use this wireless keyboard here so everybody can see behind the scenes. This is
for
my
this,
iPad where I have my notes right here.
what's the name?
Oh, it's called Cracker Barrel had good reason to rebrand, but after its new logo misfired. And I don't agree with this article, but I thought we would bring it up to kind of start the conversation. This Cracker Barrel thing may bankrupt the company. It was a $700 million rebrand, and this is only a $1 billion company. So this is, this was a bad idea. They should have rolled that out very slowly with certain aspects, see what worked, see what didn't. Instead, they wanted to bet the bank all at once.
From ABC News, as you have read it twice now, but Cracker Barrel had good reasons to rebrand, but after its new logo misfired, here's what's next. Cracker Barrel hired a new CEO in 2023 to innovate and appeal to more customers.
Yeah, and it was just the perfect consolidation of things that were coming in here. You hired a woke CEO that wanted to come in for a couple of years, do this big rebrand so she can make her portfolio and her resume. But it was during the end of the woke era, and she's probably working out of California, calling into the district headquarters, wherever it is. It's somewhere in the Midwest, I remember. But she wants to be able to point at that and show how she modernized it. And that's not what Cracker Barrel is in any way, shape, or form. People like the nostalgia. People like the old time feel. And you invested a bunch of money in a rebrand, which you didn't need at all. Mm-hmm. You should have invested in the food and the home style cooking, because now that there's a lot of backlash on Cracker Barrel, A lot of the employees are taking their cell phones in the back and showing how they actually really cook this food. It's cooked at a headquarters, shipped out, and it's put in a microwave, served on your plate.
Well, that's all fast food and chain restaurants.
Well, this isn't necessarily fast food. This is a sit-down restaurant.
But it's a chain.
I don't care if it's a chain. They should have invested in home-style cooking.
And I mean, I will say I do have a lot of this to say, and we were going to talk about it yesterday on the politics show, but we didn't have time. But I will say, thanks to the logo rebrand and just the fact that that infuriated so many people, it actually made people realize and uncover all the other stuff they've been doing for years that does not go with at least what most of their clientele would expect or wanted or their values.
And how did they not do test marketing with the logo rebrand or try it at one or two chains to find out? They want to roll it out nationwide. This is crazy. On top of that, they had a lot of authentic antiques from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, 50s that they bought at auction, estate sales, and they would ship it out. And now it seems like when they do these rebrands, they get all this stuff shipped back so they can potentially destroy it. Now they don't have access to it anymore if they do want to go back. Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, it may bankrupt the company to go back, but they have to cut their losses now and go back to what they were. If a store hasn't got the rebrand, don't force the rebrand on it. I would actually maybe manufacture a story about chains that haven't got the rebrand yet, standing up and saying, we don't want to do it. And then have the CEOs and the executives kind of back down to the franchisees and have it be a heartwarming story of how the franchisees took back the brand. Yes. Okay, let's read a little bit about the Cracker Barrel.
Oh, okay.
This is a pretty big story. It's been in the news a lot. I was surprised.
Like its namesake, barrels that transported soda crackers until boxes replaced them, Cracker Barrel needed to change. It did not.
Well, and this is a part. This is like part of Americana, and yeah, they were really trying to move away from that because of progressive messaging. They think the new generation really hate America, and that's not the case. Nostalgia is coming back in a big way, and they were perfectly placed in the market to capitalize on that nostalgia before this rebrand if they would have just focused on the food.
The restaurant chain's new CEO, Julie Fels-Messino, laid out the argument to investors last year. Cracker Barrel's customer traffic was down 16% compared to 2019. Research showed customers thought the brand fell short of competitors in essential ways, from the quality of the food to the value and convenience. We're not leading in any area. We will change that, Messino said. But over the past week, Cracker Barrel's attempted revamp hit a wall. The company saw severe backlash over its plans to modernize and simplify its nostalgic logo, including from President Donald Trump.
I think the only way to get this thing back is to cancel the rebrands, bring back the original branding of this thing, and then have a lot of YouTube placement on how they're doing all authentic home cooking in the store. They're no longer doing it how they would, and I know that's going to lose them a lot of money, but it's the only way to regain trust to the brand. Mm-hmm. Home-style gravy, home-style biscuits, things like this show how they're going out and trying to get cooks and chefs locally that know how to cook good Southern cooking. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go into California. And this one's kind of surprised me.
From Variety, California awards $256 million in TV tax credits as the studio snags $13 million for season 2.
Yeah, and it's not so much the studio or anything. Stay at the top there with the headline, but it's the $256 million in tax credits. That doesn't seem like a lot for me, to me, for California, and this is why they've been hemorrhaging so many movies going other places, because other places have more favorable tax credits. The fact that so many studios are based in California and they're only giving out $256 million in tax credits is a mass, especially when something shitty like the studio gets $13 million for season 2. They're going to hand it out to their friends. Like the Hollywood circle and the Hollywood bubble are so connected that this $256 million is going to be given in backdoor deals and to their friends, and they're going to want kickbacks for these things, or that kind of thing doesn't necessarily happen in other states. Whoever applies and qualifies gets it. That's not how it happens in California, though. Let's read a little bit about it.
Hollywood loves nothing more so much as self-satire, except maybe getting somebody else to pay for it. Yes, the studio is returning for a second season, this time with $13 million in support from the state of California. The Apple TV Plus show was one of the 22 productions awarded a total of $256 million in state tax credits on Wednesday. This is the first allocation since the state expanded its filming incentive to $750 million overall in June, triggering a surge of interest from the studios.
Yeah, and I don't know because Canada, I know, has a couple $1 billion in filming that happens there, and they get all that because of the tax credit they get and their weakened dollar. So it's a double dose and it's a lot cheaper to film in Canada. But they give like a 30% tax credit, and I can't remember exactly how much filming happens in Vancouver, but I'm sure it's over $1 billion. So half or 30% of $1 billion would be how much? 300.
I'm not good at math.
Okay, yeah. But it would be right around there. And this is Hollywood. I mean, if they want to bring business back, they're going to have to give more tax incentives. $750 million, though, I guess I didn't realize that they do have that earmarked. California is in a financial crisis right now, so I don't know if they're actually going to be able to hand out that money. Okay, let's go into the next story. We have two more.
Oh, and Norberto Molina says, I just came here to say hi, so hello. Thank you for being here as well. Gracias. From Peak News Magazine, Trump's Intel stake sparks cries of socialism from his party, but he vows more deals are coming. Donald Trump has a message for critics who think turning the U.S. government into a major stakeholder of Intel is a socialist move. More is coming.
Yeah, and I talked about this, but I got new information on this, so I decided to kind of put it in here. I do not like a public-private partnership. That's fascism, but I do understand the United States is in a hard position. 10% isn't a lot, but he's going to do this over and over, so the United States is going in business with these people. So it's kind of a contradiction, especially on what he ran on. But I will also say this. I guess I was watching economists today that are in with the Trump administration. What they were saying is rather than just give the $7 billion out like Biden was going to do, Trump wants 10%, not necessarily because he wants ownership in the company, but he wants to be able to leverage that asset to get credit from the banks. So if he can get a 10% stake in a bunch of big companies, he can leverage to get credit to opening mine, and he wants to spend that on energy and mining specifically. So he needs the Fed won't necessarily lend him the money he needs to have the revamp and the revitalization of national security industries like energy, when it comes to nuclear, when it comes to rare earth minerals. So he needs to somehow leverage and get credit access to the U.S. government, and this is the way he decided to do it. So we can read a little bit about it, but
Donald Trump has a message for critics who think turning the U.S. government into a major stakeholder of Intel is a socialist move. More is coming. I will make deals like that for our country all day long, the president posted on Truth Social after critics piled on, adding later about future ownership stakes. I want to try and get as much as I can.
Yeah, and Donald Trump really can't rely on these private industries to go do these mining, to go make these nuclear facilities and stuff like this. So this is why he needs access to credit, and he can leverage the 10% stake he has in a company to get massive loans and then build the infrastructure that's needed to compete with China. Also, he needs to nationalize a lot of these industries for national security purposes, like steel, like aluminum. This is really hurting Canada right now. And a lot of people said the United States can't make the transition. They don't understand where he's going to get the money from. But this is how he's getting the money. He's going to leverage that 10% stake for credit to be loaned to the government. And he's not just going to do a 10% stake in Intel, but he's going to do it with a lot of other companies. So also Intel is going to have a national security stake in this future of the United States because of the chips. Okay, let's go into the last story of the day. And this was the DEI Target story. But I think it's the opposite way around, I think.
Yes. From the AP, pro-DEI organizers fired up to maintain Target boycott as promises go unfulfilled.
Okay, let's read a little bit about this. I didn't have a chance to read the story, actually.
Organizers of a Target boycott that began in January are pointing to their tactics as a hopeful sign that actions against corporate retailers can still make a deep impact. When Target announced its current chief executive officer will be stepping down in February 2026 and an insider was taking the helm, those organizers saw it as a move in the right direction and stress more than ever that boycotts will continue as long as previous promises made to the public go unfulfilled. It's been now nearly 200 days, and what all the statistics and economics are showing that since the boycott was announced on that Monday, every single week since then, Target foot traffic in nearly 2,000 stores has declined sharply and continues to decline, said organizer Jaylene Hussein at a news conference.
Yeah, and Target just has big competition in the United States with Walmart, Costco, and things of this nature, especially Amazon online shopping as well.
Boycott organizers in Minnesota were among some of the first to galvanize when Target opted in January to follow other companies like Amazon and Walmart and forego diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. High-profile civil rights activists like Reverend Al Sharpton and the Reverend Jamal Bryant also made similar calls for what they deemed a betrayal of previous DEI promises.
Yeah, and I remember when I was a teenager in California, I actually shoplifted from a store and I got some shoes. And then I told my cousin, I got these shoes. He's like, I want to get a CD. So he decided to go to Target. I had never done this at Target. I had done it at some like discount shoe store or something. So he goes into Target, he gets caught immediately. Mm-hmm. Cops get called, he's arrested, and we're just young kids. And I never did it again after that. But that being said, I found out later that Target has the most advanced security system in the entire U.S. They actually fund the CIA and they get first dibs on a lot of that technology. So the technology they test in Target with facial recognition and stuff like that at the time was more advanced than the casinos in the United States. So I guess my cousin just picked the wrong place to shoplift from.
Yeah.
But we learned our lesson and it didn't happen
don't
again.
shoplift. Social justice advocates say this shows boycotting is a key tactic not to be taken for granted. I mean, that is the first initial way that the DEI got taken out of Target. Retail analysts say it's difficult to gauge the exact impact of the boycott since Target has faced a slump the last few years and a leadership change was in the cards. Still, groups like Washington-based DC Boycott Target Coalition insist falling foot traffic is due in no small part to a boycott that spans coast to coast. I think they're being very optimistic about their efforts.
Yeah.
The leadership change doesn't mean anything without a culture change, the group said in a statement, vowing to continue pressuring Target until the corporation sees its diversity goals as more important than bowing to an administration that is filled with racism, failure, and hatred.
Yeah,
it's not.
a lot of craziness, I think. Well, thanks for everybody tuning in today. Yes. We do have our political show tomorrow. It's the last one of the week, so tune in for Nat and the Guy, and that's 6 p.m. Mexico City time. Thanks for everybody that watched Nat on WDW Pro today. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers.
And Rafa and Norberto Molina, thank you so much for your comments as well.
Adios.